Hi, my name is Jorgia. I'm here at Nature Baby in Newmarket with SALA, and I'm here on behalf of Clover Ferments. So we are a small batch fermented tonics company. I'm also a certified nutrition consultant specialising in pregnancy, postpartum and babies. I work at Clover Ferments making their amazing fermented tonics, and I'm also a chef by trade. So what are our fermented tonics? So our fermented tonics are a lot like sauerkraut brine. So we add vegetables, salt and water, and then we wait. We wait for 3 weeks, and in those 3 weeks it allows the amazing beneficial bacteria to grow and flourish, and it makes a really beautiful probiotic rich drink, which is amazing for your gut health. So the story of how Clover Ferments came about is pretty special. So one of the founders of Clover, she's a mum of 3, and her middle child, Clover, was born with a really sensitive digestive system. So she would scream for hours, she was covered in eczema, she would have blood in her stools, and it was so distressing for Steph and Clover and their whole family. So Steph also was originally vegan, but she found that foods through her breast milk would really flare up Clover's symptoms. So she could actually only eat 3 foods for her whole breastfeeding journey, which were leeks, green beans and lamb, and the same went for when Clover started eating solids. She could only tolerate these 3 foods. So Steph went on a journey to find a way to help her little girl's gut issues. So she sought help from naturopaths, doctors, she joined gut support groups, and she just really wanted to find a way to help her little girl's gut issues. So when Clover was about 18 months old, Steph came across this way of fermenting in one of her gut support groups. She'd seen other mums who had had great success with this way of fermenting. And as soon as Steph found out about it, she got the recipe and she got right to work. So she added salt, water and vegetables into the ferment tanks, and she waited. And in 3 weeks' time, they were ready. So she started offering really small sips to Clover, and amazingly, within a month of Clover sipping away at these tonics, she could actually tolerate more than 50 foods, which is absolutely life-changing for her and their whole family. So the other founder of Clover, her name is Marianne. She's an amazing mum of 2 boys. She is a lover of all things natural and zero waste, and she's also a dear friend of Steph's. So they went on a family holiday together, and Marianne saw what these tonics had done for Clover's quality of life, and they decided to join forces with the drive to make a product like this as available to as many people as they could, so people could see this sort of product as an option. From there, Clover Ferments was born, and a few months after it was established, I came on board to run the kitchen side of things. So that's a bit about the amazing story of Clover Ferments. But what else can the ferments help with? So it was pretty cool with the tonics. We knew that they had helped Clover, but we didn't really know what else they could help with. We know that gut health is related to so many different things, but people came to us with issues and we just told them, give it a go, let us know how you go. And we get some pretty cool emails daily, which is so inspiring. So we get people with IBS who no longer have irritable bowel syndrome, people who are getting constant UTI infections and no longer are getting any, people's mood, energy, chronic fatigue, people who were having to take an afternoon nap and no longer need to, eczema, you know how it helped Clover's eczema, it helped my own eczema, so many people close to me. Psoriasis is an amazing one because it's so visual, so we get some really cool before and after photos. People with joint pain, people are now able to sleep. migraines, that was a big one for me, and also my mum. Mental health issues, and then just general immune system, like people who were feeling run down all the time and getting colds all the time were no longer feeling like that. And it was, in my biased opinion, I think there's not much these tonics can't do. So let's get into it. Let's discuss gut health in relation to pregnancy and babies. So gut health is actually becoming one of the top research fields in medicine, which is extremely beneficial for us because we are really starting to understand the importance of gut health and how beneficial it is for our overall well-being to have a strong gut. So it was once believed that babies were born with no bacteria, but we actually now know that this is far from true. There's a growing body of research that actually indicates the development of an infant's microbiome starts in utero. So this suggests that the colonization of bacteria takes place through the placenta and amniotic fluid when they're still in mum's tummy. So the second and largest transfer of beneficial bacteria happens through the birth canal at a vaginal birth. There have also been some amazing studies of the maternal microbiome in mothers who develop things like gestational diabetes, preeclampsia, hypertension, pre or postpartum depression, went into preterm labour, developed mastitis or had colicky babies, and this all actually indicates that these mamas had less diversity in their microbiome than mothers who had a more typical pregnancy or postpartum period. We also now know that maturing of the gut in babies happens in the later stages of pregnancy. So this is just getting the baby's digestive system all ready to come out into the world and start digesting milk. Studies show that preterm babies actually have less diverse microbiome than full-term babies. So we really need to take extra care when we're starting solids with these little ones, and this is actually something that is really close to my heart because my own son Odin was born 7 weeks prem, and we navigated so many of our own gut and immune issues. He was such an uncomfortable baby. He literally cried all the time, screamed at the boob, and was just incredibly uncomfortable. And as much as I wish that I knew then what I know now, it's also incredibly empowering to know what I know now and to be able to help other parents navigate this really tricky time of having a really uncomfortable baby. So yeah, that's a cause that is really close to my heart. So how can you support your gut in pregnancy? So you can actually really diversify your gut bacteria and in turn increase the beneficial bacteria found in the birth canal that will be transferred to your baby during a vaginal birth. You can do this through things like fermented foods or a probiotic supplement. This has actually been proven to reduce a child's risk of developing allergies, thrush, asthma, eczema, and especially true in mothers who had eczema themselves. But I know what you're thinking. If a vaginal birth wasn't in your journey and you had a cesarean like myself, there are still things we can do for your baby's gut health. So what a mother eats while breastfeeding can actually greatly impact the quantity of beneficial bacteria found in her breast milk. So consuming probiotic-rich foods or supplements through your breastfeeding journey can more than double the levels of immune protective compounds found in a mother's milk, which is just insane. Almost 30% of a baby's gut bacteria comes from a mother's milk, and another 10% from the nipple, from the skin around the nipple. But again, if breastfeeding wasn't in your journey, don't panic, you haven't failed your child. So there are still things we can do. So things like lots of skin to skin is amazing from the bacteria found on your skin. We're really lucky that there are actually now some really high quality formula brands out there, and 2 of which are found in New Zealand. So one of them is called Little Oak. It's an amazing goat's milk formula. It can just be a little bit easier on the digestive system. The other one is Haven, that's an A2 milk protein, also easier to digest than standard cow's milk formula. So I especially love that these formulas are both palm oil and corn syrup free, which shockingly are two top ingredients found in a lot of formula brands out there. But I would always recommend adding a probiotic to any formula. So even if it says that it contains a probiotic, it's often not a high quality because it's shelf stable, and so that's why I always recommend adding a really high quality probiotic. So one that I love is called Smidge, and you only need to add a really small amount to 1 bottle a day. And it might seem expensive, but 1 bottle will actually last you about 6 months. So who can benefit from probiotics? So fermented foods or probiotics can be beneficial for all women during pregnancy and breastfeeding, but especially those who have a poor digestive system, have had yeast infections during pregnancy, used antibiotics during pregnancy, tested positive for GBS, or had a cesarean birth. As cesareans are actually antibiotics are actually routinely administered during a cesarean, which is something I didn't know, and I had a cesarean. There are also amazing studies about how having a healthy gut microbiome can really reduce your chance of getting mastitis. Let's go through and talk about what negatively impacts our gut health. So we all know this one, antibiotic use. Another one is stress. So it's not realistic to eliminate all stress, but really small acts of self-care can actually really lower the cortisol in your system. So these are things like getting some gentle movement in, getting a quality sleep routine, finding some alone time, which I know can be really hard when we've got little people in a busy house. Getting outside to get some vitamin D, and eating some nourishing foods. So we want our diet to include lots of seeds and nuts, lots of colourful vegetables, gelatinous cuts of meat, eggs, all that sort of thing. And we want to reduce inflammatory foods, so think like sugar, vegetable oils, fried foods, and simple carbs. We also want to be thinking about the toxins in our environment. So we can't control what's outside our house, but we can control the cleaning products we use in our house, and we can be a little bit more mindful of the products that we're putting on our skin. So what else can fermented foods do? So 70 to 80% of our immune systems are actually found in our gut, and fermented foods can actually help our body absorb vitamins and minerals from other foods we eat in the day. One thing I really love about Clover Ferments is that people are getting amazing results without having to do like complete diet changes and everything. So that's actually why founder Steph, her husband loves them, because he can still drink his beer, but he can have his shots of ferments and then he doesn't get any eczema flare-ups. So that's really cool. Just thought I would share that. So can I drink the tonics during pregnancy? Yes, you can. The only thing is that they're an acquired taste. They're pretty funky, salty. Some people love them straight away, and some people take a bit of getting used to, but most people say they actually end up craving them. So if you're pregnant and you're feeling really nauseous, I would recommend having it with a meal. You can mix it with juice to help get it down. You can put it in a smoothie, and Steph actually has released an ebook with some really cool recipes. So I think you just sign up to our newsletter on our website and then you'll get that ebook. She also puts lots of cool recipes on our Instagram page, so you should check them out. So you don't just need to shop them back, you can also incorporate them into your meals. So when can we offer the tonics to our babies? So babies can start sipping away at the tonics from 6 months. So you can offer them a sip straight out of a cup, or you could stir some into purees. And if they don't love it straight away, that's totally okay. Just keep offering it, keep modeling you loving it, and they'll eventually want to do what you're doing. Also, exposing babies to sour flavours in the early years can actually prevent fussy eaters later in the toddler years, which is something that we all want. So just lastly, for starting on anything fermented, I just recommend that you start really low and slow. Let your system adapt, slowly build up as and when it feels right for your body. It's going to look so different for everyone. So I hope you feel really encouraged to start incorporating some fermented foods into your life. And if you want to find out more about us, you can find us on Instagram at Clover Ferments. We love hearing from you. Thank you so much for watching.